We're looking at live coverage and live pictures from Ben Gurion Airport outside Tel Aviv. That, of course, is Air Force One. President Trump is expected to arrive there very shortly. This after addressing the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, on this historic day, a day when all 20 of the remaining living hostages who had been held in Gaza for 738 days, they are now free. During his speech to the Knesset, President Trump was greeted by really a thunderous standing ovation. You can hear the gavel right there. This after the U.S. brokered a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. The president called it, the quote, the historic dawn of a new Middle East. Let's listen to a brief moment of that speech.
In an unprecedented achievement, virtually the entire region has endorsed the plan that Gaza will be immediately demilitarized, that Hamas will be disarmed, and Israel's security will no longer be threatened in any way, shape, or form.
All right, we have pictures now of where President Trump is headed. That's Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. He will attend a summit which is ostensibly on the future of Gaza with the leaders of 20 other countries there.
But just a look at the signage that they have up as they are going to be arriving. Peace in the Middle East. I mean, this is setting up to be, they are setting a high bar for what they want to accomplish on a very big day. And you can see a podium there, lots to come here. And as we await that, we are witnessing finally the emotional, just look at this, guys, emotional reunions taking place between those freed hostages and their loved ones that they haven't seen in more than 2 years. Finally coming face to face at a military base in southern Israel. Listen. Just amazing moments, long overdue. See that helicopter there? Several of the hostages being flown to hospitals from southern Israel to hospitals in and around Tel Aviv, where they're going to begin a very long road to recovery. Let's get back to Tel Aviv. That's where CNN's Kaitlan Collins has been standing by reporting all morning. Just amazing moments after amazing moments that we're watching play out. Really history, Kaitlan.
Yeah, and moments that weren't guaranteed for these families. Obviously, they'd been advocating for more than 2 years for those moments to happen, to be reunited with their loved ones. And you just showed those helicopters. They've been flying overhead where we are all day, Kate, because they're landing just past Hostages Square, where Clarissa has been reporting from, at the hospitals here, ferrying those hostages back and forth. They were able to have initial medical checks, reunite with some of their loved ones, and then go on to hospitals for further evaluations where more of their family members could be. And you've just seen those beautiful moments playing out, including people who were kidnapped together into Gaza and finally being reunited in this moment. And so we've seen that play out before in previous hostage releases, but now seeing it play out this time, obviously it just hits really close to home for so many people here as they're breathing a sigh of relief here. And on the political front, the president just spoke about this, getting all these hostages home as he was addressing the Israeli parliament here. And now he is headed for the airport. We're waiting for him to board Air Force One before he heads to Egypt to go to Sharm el-Sheikh. We have full coverage across the region as we are watching those moments. And I want to go to CNN's Jeremy Diamond. And obviously, Jeremy, we just talked about those emotional moments. And you're exactly where all of these hostages are being brought after they are released onto Israeli soil.
Yeah, that's right, Caitlin. We have another helicopter that just landed here. We saw at least one of those newly freed Israeli hostages getting off the helicopter and then walking on his own 2 feet towards these buses that are waiting here. There are crowds of Israelis as well that cheer every time they hear one of these helicopters coming in. Once they see the buses passing as well, Moments ago, we saw a couple of the other hostages who just arrived here at Sheba Hospital. One of them got out of the window and started waving to the awaiting crowd. Obviously, for their families, we know the anguish that they have been through for more than 2 years, the incredibly emotional reunions that these are. But just think about the emotions that the former hostages themselves are experiencing right now. They have spent more than 2 years in incredibly isolating conditions. Many of them have been kept in tunnels, deep underground, have not seen the sun for months and months and months. And now they are finally being reunited with their families. They're back home in Israel for the first time. They're seeing sunlight. They're seeing their fellow Israelis. It can be incredibly overwhelming for these newly freed hostages. I can tell you that personally from having spoken with many of them, many of those who were released in the previous ceasefire and hostage release deals. And you can see right here, actually, if we pan over briefly, these are the buses carrying one of those newly freed hostages as they arrive here at Sheba Medical Center. And these scenes have been playing out all day. We expect at least one more helicopter to arrive here at Sheba Medical Center. 2 other hospitals in Tel Aviv have also been receiving hostages and have been prepared for this very same scenario. And remember, some of their family members are meeting them at that Re'im military base where I was earlier today. But then you have extended family and friends who are waiting for them here at the hospital to have much more extended reunions. And then again, they will undergo a full battery of medical exams, psychological evaluations, and there's really so much support that's ready to go for them here in order to begin what will be a long road of recovery. Of that, I can assure you.
I also want to go now to our CNN chief international anchor, Christiane Amanpour, who is here with us. Christiane, I just wonder your big picture thoughts as you've been watching this day play out.
Big picture thoughts are this is the day for real joy that those hostages are back and that eventually all the remains of those who did not survive will come back, and also that the killing has stopped in Gaza as well. This is a ceasefire. Today is the day to really mark the ceasefire and to surge aid into Gaza and to make sure the hostages are taken care of, their physical and mental health at the hospitals as well. This is a day that all those Israelis and members of the families have been waiting for a long, long time. And it's a day, obviously, that the civilians in Gaza have been waiting for. They are returning with some hope, only to find a complete and utter devastation. And what I've been told is that even the bits that we have seen by virtue of iPhones and maybe some drone stuff over the last 2 years do not paint the full picture of the utter, almost total extinction of Gaza. So I think this is really important. But most important for me today was listening to what President Trump said in the Knesset, where he said to the Israeli people, to the Israeli politicians, to Netanyahu, with our help, you have done everything that you could do on the battlefield. With our arms, you have essentially won the war. And now it is time to translate that, as he called it, victory, into a permanent peace. And Caitlin, that is going to be the most difficult part, because even on this day, Prime Minister Netanyahu has decided he will not take up the invitation of President Sisi to go to Sharm el-Sheikh to deal and talk with all those other international leaders, including President Trump, to discuss the day after, which is not just a day after for a Palestinian state, but it's a day after for the eventual security of Israel itself. Everybody knows that Israel can only be secure for the future and not suffer any more of these October 7th horrors if there is a political solution. And that was what was meant to be starting, is meant to be starting in Sharm el-Sheikh. So many are saying that's a seriously missed opportunity, and we don't know why he decided to, and we hope that he's not playing politics on a day like this and trying to satisfy his very, very far right. So also, we're going to really see whether President Trump doubles down and capitalizes on the incredible success of his negotiating team, his son-in-law Jared Kushner, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and his own moving off the sidelines and putting all the weight of his presidency and the leverage that only the United States can carry with Israel and frankly around the world to come to this day. Because if it's only a ceasefire, and it's not the peace plan that President Trump has been talking about, then we could be really, watching some horrible recurrence in the future, or at least endless conflict and not a peace for the people who so desperately need it. I think big picture also, it was pretty incredible. Netanyahu's highly politicized speech in the Knesset, talking about how Trump had given them jurisdiction over the Golan, over, as he called it, Judea and Samaria, otherwise known as the occupied West Bank. All of that territorial domination that he was talking about before he ever talked. This is the Prime Minister of Israel, before he ever mentioned the hostages. And I think that'll go down pretty badly amongst the Israeli people, who have been incredibly upset by the fact that their Prime Minister, they believe, has put off this day. Big picture, this could have happened at least a year or so ago, or even in January when President Trump first came into office.
Yeah.
So many hostages could have had their lives saved, so many in Gaza could have been spared, and some political resolution could have happened. So now the burden is on the leaders of all parties, including the Palestinians, to make sure this is not a 2 years that's wasted in just blood and guts and tears, that it's not 2 years of struggle in vain.